Hello, everyone. I'm making this documentary based on the incredible feedback I received from my last video about Eritrea. Your comments, support, and personal stories inspired me to explore deeper, to go beyond the surface, beyond politics and history, and instead focus on what makes Eritrea feel like home for so many: its people, its daily rhythm, its streets, its smells, and its soul. This film is for you, the Eritrean communities in Asmara, Keren, Massawa, and across the diaspora, who asked to be seen not as a news story but as human beings living real lives. So let's walk together through a day in Eritrea. The morning begins in Eritrea not with alarms, but with light. In the city of Asmara, as the first rays of sun spill across the red-tiled rooftops and painted balconies, the capital slowly begins to exhale. There is no rush, no traffic jams or noisy construction, only the steady whisper of brooms brushing against stone courtyards, the smell of fresh dough rising, and the hiss of coffee beginning to boil in a clay pot. This is how the country breathes, with intention. Down one quiet street, a mother lifts the lid on a flat, round griddle made of clay. A soft layer of injera, light and steaming, is peeled from the surface and folded neatly into a woven basket. Injera is not just food here, it's daily ritual. Made from teff flour, fermented for days, and cooked to a spongy, slightly sour perfection, it is both plate and bread. It holds memories. Every family has its own rhythm. How long to ferment, how thick to pour, how hot the fire must be. It's as much art as sustenance. The children stir. School uniforms are neatly ironed, blue skirts, white shirts, and polished shoes. In Eritrea, even when resources are limited, pride is not. Appearances matter. Cleanliness matters. Self-respect matters. And so, with a backpack in hand and a kiss on the forehead, the youngest begin their walk to school under the wide, clean sky. Meanwhile, breakfast is shared, not in isolation, but together. Injera is spread out on a metal tray, and on top, tsebiderho, spicy chicken stew, shiro, a thick paste of powdered chickpeas, or simply zigni, slow-cooked meat in berbere spice. Food in Eritrea is communal. Hands are washed, sleeves rolled up, and one hand is used to tear, scoop, and eat. There are no forks, no knives, just trust and togetherness, and in between bites there is laughter, conversation, or sometimes silence. Eritrean families are often quiet, not because they are cold, but because they are content. Warmth does not always shout. In the background, coffee brews. The buni ceremony is not something hurried. It is layered. First, green coffee beans are roasted over hot coals, filling the home with a rich, nutty aroma. They are ground by hand using a mortar and pestle, then brewed in a jabina, a round clay coffee pot with a long neck and spout. 3 rounds are served. The first, awel, is strong and bitter. The second, kali, is smoother. The third, baraka, is mild and symbolic, a blessing. During the ceremony, incense burns, neighbors drop in, and stories are told. It is part ritual, part news hour, part therapy. The ceremony is the living room's heartbeat. Outside, the city begins to hum. Asmara is unlike any other capital in Africa. It feels both futuristic and forgotten. Time moves differently here. The streets are clean, lined with Italian-style buildings from the 1930s. Cinemas, churches, gas stations frozen in time. Vespas and Fiats still cruise past pastel-colored facades. There are no glass towers or neon signs, but elegance lingers. Old men in suits sit at sidewalk cafes, sipping macchiatos. Women in traditional white shawls carry baskets of vegetables on their heads. Asmara is not fast, but it is deeply alive. Markets open early. At Shuk, the city's open-air marketplace, the air is full of noise and fragrance. Pyramids of tomatoes, onions, lemons, and peppers line the stalls. Spices are heaped in bowls: turmeric, cumin, coriander, and the ever-important Berber. Street vendors call out prices. Customers haggle not with aggression, but with affection. Buying food in Eritrea is not just a transaction. It is social glue. You greet the vendor, ask about their family, taste before you buy. Trust is part of the price. At Medabar Market, the sound of hammers rings through the air. It is here that the practical magic of Eritrean ingenuity shines. Scrap metal is recycled into stoves. Car parts become wheelbarrows. Sewing machines run on foot pedals. Nothing is wasted. Craftsmanship isn't a hobby, it's survival, and it's done with pride. Transportation is modest. There are no subway systems or Uber rides, but there are options. Shared taxis, yellow sedans, run set routes across the city. For a few nakfa, you can hop in with strangers and be dropped off near your destination. Asmara's public buses are older than most passengers, but still faithful. Drivers know everyone by face, if not name. Outside the capital, transport gets more creative. Bicycles, donkey carts, and shared vans carry passengers between villages and towns, like Keren, Mendefera, or Massawa. In Massawa, the sea shapes the rhythm of life. Fishermen head out before sunrise, casting nets into warm waters. The architecture here is Arab, Ottoman, and Italian. White domes, coral stone buildings, narrow alleys. The heat is thick, and so is the silence. Children play in courtyards. Women hang laundry between arches. Seafood is fresh. Grilled snapper with lemon or asa tipsi, fried fish in spicy tomato sauce. The Red Sea breeze carries salt and stories from across the water. Back inland, Eritrean people go about their lives with quiet strength. A shopkeeper arranges rows of soap and salt. A teenager fixes a radio on the sidewalk. A boy delivers bread by bicycle. There is little show, but so much substance. Eritreans are resourceful, pragmatic, and deeply rooted in community. Everyone knows everyone. Doors are left open. If a neighbor is sick, meals appear without asking. In newer parts of Asmara and Keren, small shopping plazas and mini-malls are emerging. Nothing like Dubai or Nairobi, but modern by local standards. They sell clothes, electronics, cosmetics. Still, most people prefer traditional routes. Hand-sewn clothes from a local tailor, sandals from a street cobbler, spices from the same vendor their grandmother used. Trust matters more than branding. Function matters more than flash. Afternoons bring rest. Shops close briefly. The sun is too strong. It's a time for lunch, for nap, for catching up. Music plays from radios, usually Tigrinya love songs or folk ballads that speak of migration and memory. Children return from school and change clothes. Some help with chores. Others head to play football on dirt pitches, using stones for goalposts. In the evening, households light fires again. Dinner is similar to lunch with more tea and more storytelling. For many Eritrean families, life isn't about accumulation, but about rhythm. The rhythm of meals, the rhythm of prayer, the rhythm of knowing who you are. Religion is central but quietly practiced. Churches and mosques stand within earshot of each other. On Sundays, you hear chants and church bells. On Fridays, the call to prayer echoes from minarets. Faith isn't politicized. It is personal. Respect between faiths is deep. In mixed neighborhoods, Christian and Muslim neighbors attend each other's weddings and funerals. Fasting days are observed with dignity, not debate. On special days, weddings, baptisms, Independence Day, the energy changes. Drums beat louder. Dancers circle with shoulders shaking. Zuria dresses shimmer. Men wear white shawls and sing into the night. In these moments, Eritrea shows its louder side. Music is everywhere. Krars pluck ancient melodies. Koboros drum ancestral rhythms. You don't need a stage to perform, just spirit. Even in times of hardship, Eritrean humor is sharp. People laugh easily. Jokes are layered. Sarcasm flows freely among friends. Life hasn't been easy, but Eritreans have never let struggle steal their joy. For young people, dreams are evolving. Some want to stay and build. Others feel drawn abroad, to Europe, the Gulf, or North America. The diaspora is vast, but even those who leave carry Eritrea with them, in their recipes, their music, their language. No matter how far, they remain tethered to home. As night falls, the streets grow quiet again. Lights flicker. Some neighborhoods have generators. Others use candles. Still, families gather. Stories are passed down. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it. Not just the silence, but what lives inside it. Pride, patience, presence. Eritrea is not a headline. It is a home, a way of life. It is a bowl of lentils shared with friends. A father teaching his daughter how to tie her hair wrap. A grandfather reading under a jacaranda tree. A fisherman pulling in his net at dawn. A student walking home in the rain. This is the Eritrea I saw. Not the one found in reports or simplified narratives, but the one that lives in the day-to-day. It is not perfect. No place is. But it is real, rooted, radiant.